No matter how smoothly your presentation is going, there will be moments where you might want to be able to talk back and forth with one of your other presenters, and you don't probably want to show that to the audience because it just seems to lack some polish. Connect has a thing called the presenter only area, which is available to presenters only, actually presenters and hosts. Well, let me say it this way because I haven't defined for you exactly what a host and a presenter is. Anyone who leads the meeting might need to be able to talk to someone else who's leading or presenting in the meeting. And that's what the presenter only area does. It allows you to do that without exposing that to the people who are in as participants in the meeting. So to get started with the presenter only area, the first thing you need to do is enable it. I'll select Meeting, Enable Presenter Only Area. The little area will slide out from the right, and everything that's happening in this area here, where you can see this Presenter Notes pod, is not visible to the participants in the meeting. So for example, I have this notes pod. This was already here by default, so I can go ahead and type into it, and perhaps I want to alert the other presenters to something. Please remember to show pricing. Now, obviously that's not something I want everyone else to see because I want everyone to think that we've got our stuff together. By putting it out here, I'm alerting the other presenters that there's something going on. I can put other pods here to actually have a full-blown conversation. So we'll go ahead and add a chat pod. Notice that when I added this pod, it automatically popped into the presenter-only area, and I got a little alert to tell me that that was going to happen. Any pod that you add with the presenter-only area enabled is going to appear first in the presenter-only area, and that gives you an opportunity to configure the pod before you bring it onto the stage. It's really useful for things like polls or notes that you want to write before you show the audience. In this case, I'm actually going to keep this pod out here. We'll resize it just a little bit because it doesn't need to be quite that wide. And this is a chat pod that I'll rename. And that's just to remind myself that this pod really needs to stay in the presenter-only area. And I've selected Please Remember to Show Pricing, and Olivia is kind of afraid that maybe I'm forgetting to do that. So she's going to go ahead and chat in there just to give me another reminder, a gentle nudge, if you will. Oh yes, of course, I shouldn't forget to show pricing. Now, what's nice about this area is that though I've put pods in here and they're not visible, I can pull them out onto the main stage. So what I'm going to do is just remove this. And while someone else is talking or while Q&A is happening, I can go ahead and put a price in here or whatever content that I might want. Once it's in here, I can just simply grab this pod and drag it out onto the main stage area. Now everybody, including the participants, will see this content. So the presenter-only area is a great area to have conversations, to set things up ahead of time, and really to kind of prepare yourself before you're ready to show things to the audience. But there is actually the possibility that the presenter-only area, especially if you have more than 2 or 3 presenters, can become quite distracting if you're presenting content. The good news is that it's okay because you can simply move or hide the presenter-only area for yourself. What I just did affects only me. The other people who are seeing the presenter-only area don't see this. They can drag it this far, or they can actually fill their screen with it if they want to, because perhaps they're not particularly interested in what I'm talking about, but they are interested in gathering their thoughts ahead of time among themselves. So the presenter-only area is really sort of a personalized little area that you can use. All the presenters can see it, but you can decide whether you want it on the stage or not. Now, there's one more thing to understand about the presenter-only area that I want to show you here. Oftentimes, when I'm in a meeting and I'm presenting, I'll move the attendee pod over there just so that I can see who's in the room, but the other attendees or participants really don't need that information. So I'll move it over here so that we can all see who's in the room and then use that information to our advantage somehow. But at some point, we may all decide as a group that, yeah, we're done working together. Let's just focus on the meeting and disable the presenter-only area. By doing so, anything that's in that area is now inaccessible. What I mean by that is this. Let's go to the pods menu here, and I'm going to choose attendees, and I can't. It looks like that it's visible, but it's not. What this means, this grayed out pod, or if I actually go down to the chat pod, you can see that there's a grayed out specific pod. This is an indication that something is in the presenter only area, and because the presenter only area is disabled, I can't access it. So if you ever see that, all you need to do is quickly enable the presenter only area, grab the pod you want, bring it back onto the stage, and then you can quickly disable the presenter-only area to put it away. So if you ever need to be able to chat with your colleagues during the meeting or in such a way that people in the meeting can't see you doing it, presenter-only area is great. Enable it, disable it, or on an individual basis, you can decide to hide it or show it depending on your needs.